one red, pour out the Jameson for ancestors to swig.
You rescue me yet again. You put me first everywhere. You make me feel better than the mother dudes. You rescue me yet again. You put me first everywhere. You make me feel better than the mother dudes.
We back with another Umar original. You know what it is. Black Fathers Initiative of Cleveland. Was that wild? That's a little wild. I know I usually come in like that. I was trying something different. Whatever. Black Fathers Initiative of Cleveland. Really appreciate the love. Make sure you guys click the link in the bio. Like, subscribe. You know what to do. You know what it is here. All black everything. Black love, black relationships, black wealth, the black community, and just, talking about the black community. Just discussing the black community, conversating. I love the comments. Keep the comments coming. I appreciate them. And I do, comment back. So definitely drop them. And then, like I said, I like to get the different insights from different comments as well. So really appreciate that. Keep that going. But you know what I'm back with? Another Dr. Umar official interview. This was done by a website. I think it's called, what is the website called? I'll have the name by the end. I believe it's called Now You Know TV, or If You Didn't Know TV, or something of that nature. But definitely check them out. I'll have the link. I'll have their information in my description, so you can go check out their page. They have a lot of good interviews with black people as well, dropping a lot of knowledge. So definitely check them out. So Dr. Umar back talking about. At this time, he's just talking about black celebrities. And honestly, I don't think too many people, I think we all know why black celebrities don't do much for the black community in general. But, I like to hear his take on it. So let's get to it.
Past, I've heard you criticize athletes and entertainers for their failure to stand up or speak out on certain topics. Do you feel it's kind of unfair to criticize an athlete?
It's called I Never Knew TV.
In the past, I've heard you criticize athletes and entertainers for their failure to stand up or speak out on certain topics. Do you feel it's kind of unfair to criticize an athlete or entertainer?
Is it fair to criticize an athlete or entertainer for their failure to be an activist? Absolutely not. Why? Dick Gregory, at one time, was the most prolific black comedian in this country. He was still an activist. Harry Belafonte, one of the most prolific black musicians, he was still an activist. Let's look at Muhammad Ali, who gave his whole career up as a protest against white supremacy, trying to send him to go fight against yellow people when the white man ain't even making America safe for black people. Look at Colin Kaepernick and the knee that he took. Look at Kyrie's stance against the repudiation by the European Jewish community. The black athlete and the black entertainer, Aretha Franklin. We can go down the whole list of blacks who put themselves on the line. When Angela Davis got arrested after George Jackson's execution during his prison revolt, Aretha Franklin said, I will pay her bail money. I want her out. Aretha Franklin, the queen of soul, says, I'm going to finance the freedom of the most revolutionary black woman in America at that time, the most hunted and the most wanted. We have always had a history of entertainers. Jimi Hendrix wanted to finance the Black Panther Party, and as a result, he was assassinated. Let's look at Sam Cooke, who was friends with Malcolm and Ali, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke said, when Malcolm and King come together, I'm going to finance the movement. Sam Cooke, first major artist to own his own masters. So look at our history. It is replete with black men and women who use their platform as an athlete and an entertainer in order to speak against and actively fight against injustices against black people. So the question becomes not whether or not it's acceptable to criticize. The question in reverse is, why does the 21st century Negro athlete get a pass where no other athlete has received one.
And Dr. Umar, I got to throw on one thing before you continue, right? It was a different ecosystem during the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different level of collective mind frame, and also the whole social and political environment was different. So that kind of bred that type of energy. That has not existed in this time. So we're looking for an expectation for someone in that time, in this time, and that's why I said it's kind of unfair in a sense. Continue.
I'm gonna push back using me. I got 6 degrees, doctor, most known black school psychologist ever. I could go to the system and be a millionaire by diagnosing ADHD and learning disabilities. Would it be acceptable for me to do that just because the context in which I exist is a very coonish, anti-African context? You understand? So for me, I don't think the expectations change with the times. The expectations stay consistent. So when I'm looking at my political work, I'm not comparing myself to Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, because that's not much. I'm comparing myself to the ancestors. I'm comparing myself directly to Garvey. How am I stacking up? Not in a competitive way, but in a way to fulfill his works. I'm looking at Frederick Douglass. How am I stacking up? I'm not comparing myself to the president of the NAACP, because that bar is too low. So I don't expect nothing different of me than was expected of those ancestors. Why do our behavior change just because the level of consciousness changes?
All right, I want to give 2 examples, right, before we continue. Say Bob Marley, for instance.
Okay.
Bob Marley was around some Rastafari ancients. You get what I'm saying? He was being exposed to French for and all this type of music. I don't know, these people chill with rappers. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're just in a different environment, so they're not getting that teaching and that.
So are you arguing that black entertainers and celebrities represent a Negro aristocracy that must be free of accountability?
No, it's not the sense of free of accountability. I think the expectation is wrong. I think we should be looking to other actual leaders instead of...
No. When you are at war, everyone plays their position. When you're at war, everyone plays their position.
I don't think they view themselves as being as war in a war.
Well, because they're comfortable. But they definitely understand what black people are going through. They saw what Kanye, they saw what Kyrie, they saw what Cosby. They see that at the end of the day, we don't see you as no different than anybody else. They know that. The issue is the money has made them so comfortable and so fearful that they don't want to step out. The real issue is not the fact that they're a celebrity. The real issue is they were raised by black parents in a black community that did not value freedom and black masculinity. Because at the end of the day, my brother, put activism to the side. We're talking about black masculinity. Are you a man? It's the same thing when people say, well, hey, Doc, you said Barack Obama didn't do nothing for black folks. That's true, but what could he do? At the end of the day, he could have spoke to what we were going through as president of the United States. I can't fault him for not being able to make all the changes. You got to fight with a Congress. But you didn't even speak to what the hell I'm going through. You follow what I'm saying? Are you a man? Because here's my thing. If an athlete, if a football player, if a rapper is going to tell me because of where I am and who I am, I cannot fight, then don't ever call yourself a man again. Because a man is not made a man by his circumstances. A man is made a man by what is inside of him. So if you don't have the guts and the courage to speak up and fight for black people, I don't care who you are, then don't ever call yourself a man. Because the definition of a man is consistent in your defense and protection of your community. And if you feel you don't have an obligation to defend and protect your community because of your money and your professional, you are not a man. Politically, you have been emasculated. So they have to make up their mind.
Once again, man, Umar taking it there for you. What I can say is he's absolutely right. I think everybody in this country, in this world, at least most black people who have any sense of consciousness, definitely see that our black billionaires, not all of them, but the ones who got their billions from music, we see that the majority of them aren't going to do anything for the community other than maybe go back, shoot a video, and throw money in the air or something of that nature. But other than directly pumping the community and helping the black community build its own economy and infrastructure, they're not on that. And I think the reason being is because before they could even reach the amount of money that these guys are at now, I believe they had to make an agreement, had to sign an agreement, make a pact, a oath, whatever you want to call it, and say pretty much, we are, we're on this side. Like, we chose this side, we're on this side with you guys. And as long as you guys, hold up your end of the bargain, which is, keep us millionaire, make us billionaires, keep us in front of the people and help us and keep us, able to make music that manipulates the masses, then, we cool. We don't care, and that's how I think. And then when you agree to it and say, all right, cool, yeah, we'll do it. That's when they put you on that pedestal, and all of a sudden all these doors start opening for you all of a sudden, all out of nowhere. But when you say no, those doors don't open and they shut, and it's curtains. But I always felt like, since Muhammad Ali, because I grew up with Muhammad Ali, well, not with Muhammad Ali, but grew up knowing about Muhammad Ali. He was still, in my time, I believe he was still boxing. I'm sorry, in my time he wasn't still boxing. He had stopped boxing, but I do remember him being an activist and being on TV a lot and speaking out a lot. And I always thought that was that's what famous black people were supposed to do. Like, I always felt like if you're black and you're famous, you should be speaking out against the things going on in the black community. When we first got hip hop, before gangster rap, that's what they were doing, talking about what was going on in the community. And even with gangster rap, a lot of the gangster rap was what was going on in the community. Just happened to transition during the time of the crack epidemic. So, really lightweight transition from hip hop to gangster music. And talking about selling drugs, drinking 40, smoking weed, having sex. But once again, these billionaires, in my opinion, they have all the power, but they won't do anything, because if they do something, they'll try to take everything from them. And unlike Kanye West, I think a lot of them are pretty much dependent on this system that they have signed a contract to. So if this system turns their back on them, there's nothing, they would be out of everything. They would be back at the bottom. So I think that's why our black billionaires and millionaires don't speak out much against, the things going on in the black community, because they got to keep their money safe, keep their family fed. So if you was in that position, you'd probably do the same thing. So who knows? But once again, Dr. Umar, as always, great interview, great topics. Appreciate the love. www.blackfathersofcleveland.com. Make sure you go check out the website. Peace.